Why is there so much corruption in my country? Very recently, just an hour ago, I read this news report someone shared with me. A sitting Delhi High Court judge has piles of cash discovered inside his house when there was a fire, emergency services were called, and then while putting out the fire, this recovery was done. And apparently strict actions are being proposed. I don't want to get into that because I've just read a news report. I have no idea about what's happening. I did not call up any colleagues, anybody that I know to ask about. I don't want to be reporting on that. But there are two things that I did want to talk about when I read this. One, a man has to accept his mistakes. Just about 2 or 3 days prior, I uploaded a video talking about why you should not bribe your judge. And it seems that, I have to be a little more flexible with my thoughts, I guess. But another aspect what I was contemplating on was, why are we Indians so corrupt? Why is there so much corruption happening in our country? I try to view the global landscape as much as possible, and I try to kind of figure out, is there any country which is completely corruption free? What are they doing? And to my understanding, there is no country in the world which is completely corruption free. There are always some individuals in every country, every society, every city that have some sort of, say, agenda, some sort of insecurity, something because of which they say, I need to amass huge amounts of wealth. And I say there is nothing wrong with amassing wealth, especially if in an entrepreneurial way or through hard work, through innovation, through capitalist ways, you're able to build wealth. I very powerfully believe in that. But amassing wealth through corruption, through some sort of a statutory monopoly of some sort, be it as a police officer, be it as a politician, be it as a government servant, to kya bole, officer. And I see this happening so much more in my country because I think, and please do in the comments tell me if I'm wrong. This is just my thought process. What I feel is that all of these government functionaries, these individuals who are, say, maybe in business, who are using the government and its agencies in one way or the other to gain favors, they look at other people around them and they see that if someone makes money through legitimate means, or if they see someone making money through illegitimate means, they see everybody goes down in this country. Anybody with a little bit of money, people look at him just like crabs in a bucket mentality. How is he going up? Where is our share? They pull him down. So the person thinks, I have a very short window, especially the illegitimate ways of making money. They think I have a short window. Let me amass as much wealth as I can. And then I will also someday or the other be dragged down. And when I get dragged down, I should have enough resources to be able to pull myself out of it and hopefully be able to escape. You talk about big businessmen who have been, accused rightly or wrongly, they escape the country. Little known fact, there are a lot of government officers who make money in a lot of illegitimate ways, and then they run away from the country, they tear up their passport, they run away, they either seek asylum or they very conveniently get citizenships, PR of other countries, and then they stay away. Something that not a lot of people want to talk about because of obviously these are dirty secrets. I personally have heard of so many of these stories, right? And I feel that people look at this and they see that there is no reward for hard work, right? You will anyways get taken down unless you decide to be very poor, and even then you can be troubled, you can be harassed, you can be arrested, you can be prosecuted, you can be fired, dismissed, be it government, be it business, right? The government is not going to come and help you anyways if you're in bad times, right? If you're, say, maybe you have a horrible medical condition, the government is not going to help. If you're out on the street starving to death, the government is not going to help. And so they think, let me amass as much as I can for times that maybe I face some bad situation, some bad case, some extortion, some anything, any of these many things that I've just talked about, and let me amass as much wealth as possible. And then hopefully I will have enough connections and money to be able to sail out the time when I am being targeted. Is this a good way to live life? I ask myself. There has to be a solution. But till then, I know that through legitimate means, I would like to think, I am trying to make as much money as possible because I have no disillusions, no, false ideas in my head that because I'm a lawyer, I am safe. I look at everyone around me, nobody is safe. And that is why I always tell people who, as lawyers, we say, oh, what's the problem? Go to jail. What's the problem? Pay my fees. I say to police officers, what's the problem? You spend a few days in jail. Judge says, what's the problem? Stay a few days in jail. If your property is taken, if your, liberty is taken, what's the problem? All of these people, government officers, what's the problem? I always say this. Right now, you think that because you are part of this circle, that you will be left alone. It's not going to happen. Look at the writing on the wall every single day. Judges, lawyers, police officers, the holy trifecta, right? And obviously other government agencies, politicians, right? Everybody who thinks, oh, I am untouchable. No one in this country is untouchable. And everybody has some sort of, demon, someone looking at them and thinking, I have to take this person down. Number one, when you operate through life, operate with a little bit of compassion rather than thinking, I am, invincible and nothing can happen to me. And secondly, knowing that this will happen, right? Perhaps, can I say you are at fault? Not really. I'm not condoning any of this. All I'm saying is when the opponent, right, when we as a collectivist society looks at someone and points and say, look at this bad man, let's also understand their motivations, understand what they are thinking, rather than just branding them a demon and saying now banish them to hell. That is never going to be the solution. Let's figure out these motivations. Have an open dialogue with compassion with all the stakeholders involved, including, please, the general public, the citizens as well. And let's come up with a solution rather than just saying this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and behind four walls we are doing the same goddamn thing.